So, Multi-Eurovision Song Contest came to an end last night. 16 songs competed, and the public got to solely decide for the first time. And Claudia Faniello won with Breathlessly.
Breathlessly, I'll be holding you endlessly, knowing that the storm is just about to die, climbing over walls that always felt too high, breathlessly.
And with Tristan, as you can see, he was actually in Malta for the competition in the arena. So, did the right song win first and foremost in your mind?
I think so. It was a surprise win, as people were saying, but she sung fantastically live, and it was a well-deserved song. Of course, Claudia has been trying to represent Malta for a very long time now, so a lot of people are saying, it's about time she finally won. So, yes, it's a deserving winner.
Yeah, I mean, going on the song, I have no real issue about it. It's more of an old-fashioned ballad, but that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with stripping it back, a woman in a dress and singing very well, like she did. Yeah, like I said, it's her 9th year of trying with her 11th song in Multi-Eurovision Song Contest. So, yeah, glad she's going. She finally gets to do it. Obviously, it's very important to her because, no matter how small or big a country is, the fact that you try 9 years shows you really want to do it. And I think she did a good job. It was a pleasant closer. It was a nice sort of come down to the evening, and it seemed like it got a good reaction in the arena. So I'm not upset with the win, with her winning and going for Malta. I think it still could do, respectably well. And Malta have been doing well these last few years, and they thankfully haven't disappointed this year. As I said, the televote was the only deciding factor last night. There was no juries involved, and in the end, only less than 500 votes split the top two. In second place, it was Janice with Kyiv. Translates to Star, the only song in Maltese in the selection. I thought it was fantastic, and I thought this was going to win.
Yes, definitely. Having seen it on social media and as well as being on the island amongst the Maltese people, it was very much everyone was wanting Kyiv to win. And I tell you what, the reception that Janice got in the arena was absolutely fantastic. I've watched the broadcast back now, and it does not compare to it. The cheers were the loudest for Janice. They were absolutely through the roof compared to Brooke and Claudia. So I obviously thought 100% televote. Janice has got this. She was definitely, and I was so convinced. And even before the big build in the song, all of the audience were on their feet for this song. They absolutely loved it and were going absolutely wild. You did not see this in the broadcast, but the hall was on its feet.
That's a shame, because obviously if people are at home voting, they don't see that. It might influence them, you don't know. Yeah, like I said, I thought this was amazing. It would have been nice to have Maltese in the selection, because it's kind of not selection, just in Eurovision, because it's such a forgotten language, I feel. Everyone just associates Malta with speaking English, they have their own dialect and their own language, and it was a beautiful song, and she sang it incredibly, the power in her voice, I'm very jealous. And I hope it doesn't deter her, and I hope she comes back, because I'm sure if they keep it as a televote only thing, she will win one day, if she keeps trying, because she's clearly got support there, and she's got the voice, and she did have the song, but like I said, it's just so close, anything and everything could have altered it, if she sang a bit later in the running order, or Claudia didn't close, it could have been the other way around. You never know.
Anything could have happened, and hopefully this has allowed for future songs to be submitted in Maltese. Maybe it's shown maybe to the people of Malta and all the songwriters and the artists in Malta that hang on, a song in Maltese could do very well, because of course the only times we've seen Maltese in Eurovision was back in the 70s, 45 years ago. So Maltese people speak Maltese on a daily basis. It's their language, and it's an absolutely beautiful language, and that was shown to all of us in Janice's song.
Rounding out the top 3 was Kevin Borge with Follow. It was my personal winner going into the final itself. I was happy with how he performed it. I liked it. The staging and the lights they used for it, like, kind of gave that sort of like haunting feeling I've always felt the song had. I liked the sort of like dove that was on the screen that went into sort of like a supernova thing. It was quite clever. It was lacking maybe a little bit, and he did like sort of shout and cheer at one like halfway or near the last minute of the song, which kind of killed the sort of atmosphere of it, because it's such a passionate song, and then also like to cheer out because you're so pumped up on adrenaline, just kind of like broke that sort of like moment a bit. But like I said, he's obviously so well known, won Swedish Idol, has tried for this before, and again came so close but so far. So again, I'm sure he'll be trying again in the future as well.
Most definitely. And the thing with Kevin is, because of his song, we didn't really know what to expect from his performance, because it could have been, well, one, what he actually did, but two, it could have been a performance with, very high energy, a lot of movement, potential backing dancers are really good on some of the backing singers. You just don't know what would have come out with that, but Kevin made it work. And Kevin is, as everyone knows, a very well-respected and very, very good singer.
Yeah, so they were the top 3. A surprise was actually the massive fan favourite outside of Malta, Brooke, falling flat, like not even in the top 3. Some people are saying that her recap slot was like a disadvantage to her because it didn't show a good part of her song, but I have heard from people like inside that they got to pick the recap spots themselves. Apparently, like the acts they got to choose, which I think they should always do. But I just think the whole song came off a bit flat for me. Like, we know Brooke can do that. Obviously, with Golden, she had such vocal power and control. But I didn't get that with Unstoppable. Like, it felt a bit flat listening to it on the broadcast. It just sounded like she was struggling, and yeah, it just fell a bit flat for me. And I must admit, going into it, I just kind of thought Brooke's gonna win. She was so popular last year. Everyone loves her. She's coming back again. She has such a powerful song about being unstoppable. It's it's inspiring. It's motivating. But the performance just fell a little flat, and I just felt a little disappointed or underwhelmed. I'm not sure.
I mean, even before Brooke had performed, at the beginning when the artists were introduced on stage, and as well as just at the start of her performance, her reaction from the crowd really surprised me, that it wasn't as big as the hype that I've been seeing amongst the fans internationally. And also, some people from Malta were saying, Brooke, we really want to see Brooke go as well. So, I was very, very surprised at the audience reaction to Brooke not being so loud. And that's what made me think, of course, maybe Brooke won't get it, it will go to Janice. But then, yes.
Then Claudia came along and stole it. Well, there are just a few standouts, obviously, but did you have any other personal standouts in the arena, or any personal favourites, or just anyone that surprised you on the night?
I think one of my personal favourites, who has been one of my personal favourites for quite a few years in the Maltese selection, is Franklin. And his vocals are just absolutely breathtaking live. Studio version, just fantastic anyway, and then you hear him live and those notes that he can hit, and everyone's cheering for it, and oh my goodness, it's just so full of emotion. And I saw they were doing some interviews on TVM before the show, and they did a little bit of sort of a snippet of their song, just in the TV studios with a handheld mic, and my goodness, that guy can sing. So yes, seeing him was a treat, especially, as he was in it last year and this year. Being able to see him was brilliant. Really, really good.
Brilliant. Well, my personal standout was Maxine Pace. I don't know why, but ever since last year, I've just fallen in love with this girl. Like, Young Love was so fresh, it was cute, it was great. And then Bombshell, totally different sort of song, but it was still like really good. Like it was a lot of energy. She looked like she was having fun. It was great, and it went off, you say, like a bombshell. Like, this young girl she has so much confidence and charisma and just everything for her age. She's only 17, and yeah, I just think she was a definite standout for me. I didn't think she was going to win because I didn't think like Malta would take a chance on maybe a song that could come across maybe a bit too childish or kiddie. Maybe I'm not sure, but I think she gave it a great go. I think it was brilliant, and I hope she carries on this sort of curve of just like being up tempo but more adult as well. And then, you know, she will probably go in a few years as well. But like I said, 17, it's got years.
I mean, you look at the type of song that she was singing. That is just adding to the massive variety of songs that Malta gave to us this year, and it was a really good song. I really like Maxine's song. Yes.
And just a closing question. Obviously, there was no juries. There was only a televote this year. Do you think Claudia could have won if there was a jury, or do you think like the jury was missed this year? Or should they just carry on with the public deciding in future years?
It's very interesting. I mean, because I went last year as well to when it was held in Valletta in the Mediterranean Conference Centre, the jury was there, but you know, the opinion amongst the public was Ira Losko's going to do this, and she did fantastically. Then, of course, we had the challenging of the song where Chameleon was changed to Walk on Water, and you know, had the jury had less influence there, would that still have happened? I mean, we heard a little bit of the new version of Chameleon in the national final last night when Ira performed, and it's hard to say because the show, I would say they're two, even though it was the same format, apart from the voting, the shows were different. You compare last year, the Mediterranean Conference Centre in Valletta, and then look at the show that was hosted last night in Taali. It was so much bigger, and you know, the introduction of the acts coming on stage with the dance troupe, and you know, they're two very different shows in terms of production. And you know, would a show of that production have associated well with such heavy jury influence, or was this show reproduced entirely to be suited to a 100% televote audience?
I'm not entirely sure about that one. I think they should keep it with the public. You know, they had a good selection of songs. Like I said, it was a great show. The public didn't make a bad choice in the end. You know, the top three were very well deserved. And so yeah, just let the public decide. You know, they obviously are very passionate in Eurovision. They know who they want to go, and so let them have the voice. Why not? Like I said, and you know, before the weight the jury had was just so heavy. So I think Malta, just let your public choose because they obviously know what they're talking about. But it is Claudia and Breathlessly off to Eurovision. Obviously, she cannot change her song this year because there's a new rule banning it. What do you think? Can she do well? Can she make the final again? Make sure you let us know. And thank you, Tristan, for joining us. And
Grazie, Hafna.
And we shall see how Malta do in the semi-finals in Kyiv.